Today we're going to find out if this budget audio recorder can handle 4 drum mics, and we're going to do that right after I shout out today's patron, and that shout out goes to Sadiq Cat. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. This is my Zoom H6 Essential, and last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I did a video with this miking my acoustic drum kit, my Gresh Catalina Club Jazz, with just the stereo XY mic up top, and it actually sounded pretty decent. However, the point of that video was to kind of lead into this one, which was to see if this was a great budget recorder for someone to start off with who wanted to mic their drums somewhat properly in the future. And the main reason the H6 Essential was a candidate for this was because it actually has 4 XLR combo jacks that can take external microphones. I just happen to have 4 microphones on my drum kit. I've got a Shure SM57 here on the snare drum. I've got a Shure Beta 52 down here on the kick. And then up top, I've got a pair of AKG P70s for overhead mics. And all 4 of those microphones are now currently being ran into the H6 Essential here. In addition, I can also enable this top microphone here to have it record as well for maybe a little extra ambiance, but I kind of want to disable it right now and just see what these 4 mics sound like plugged into the H6. It should also be noted that this capsule does come off and you can buy additional capsules. For instance, I could get one with 2 more XLR combo jacks on there, which would mean that I could have dedicated mics for my 2 toms as well, and still keep the 2 overheads. That would be cool, but it's a bit excessive for the tiny little room I'm in right now, I think. I might do that eventually if this works. Now on the H6 itself, I've gone into the inputs and I've delinked these 2 up here, so these are no longer stereo inputs. They are simply 2 mono inputs because that's the kick and snare. And then for inputs 3 and 4, I actually have them linked, and I have phantom power on, and that's because those are my 2 overheads, which those mics do need phantom power. On the mixer page itself, I have everything set relatively similar. I've got the overheads a little louder. Keep in mind the mixer is just referring to playback and what you're hearing when you're listening to it. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the levels of the audio files recorded, at least as far as I know. Also, if you find yourself here on this video and you haven't watched part 1, I highly recommend it. A brief overview of this recorder, it's about $300 US. It's got a great XY mic built in. It's got the 4 inputs on the sides there. It records straight to an SD card, micro SD card. It actually comes with one. You can power it via 4 AA batteries, or like I'm doing with USB Type-C. And it also does have 32-bit float audio recording, meaning that it can be pretty difficult to clip this thing. So I'm going to leave the H6 sitting just like this here on the kick drum. I'm going to put the camera on the tripod and hit record. We'll see how it does. All right, let's do this. Just realized I did all of that without my headphones on. That's okay though. Now I can simply plug my headphones in to the headphone jack here on the side of the H6 Essential, and I can hit play and just listen back to what I recorded. Okay, so all in all, I'm pretty happy with the results, especially because I didn't really take the time to dial anything in. The mics, especially the overheads, are not placed well at all. The kit really isn't set up perfectly to be mic'd either. I'm still kind of moving into this room, and this room is not going to be my studio forever. Like, I'm going to be out of here within a year into a different part of the house. So, you know, things are in limbo. But if I can get this good of a drum sound just raw off the H6, just, you know, plugging the mics in and going for it, that's a pretty good sign. Also, here's what these drums sound like with a little bit of compression ran through Ableton. So enjoy this. I think that sounded pretty dang good, and I do think it answers the question if the H6 Essential is good enough for a drummer who wants to get into recording their drums, doesn't have a ton of cash, but wants a quality sound. You can get this, start out with the XY stereo mic, which sounds pretty good as we demonstrated a couple weeks ago, and then you can just slowly add like SM57s to this thing. You could start with maybe one for your kick and one for your snare, and then couple as overheads, and then you could add a couple more even if you get the expanded capsule, you know, with the 2 XLR inputs on top there. Yeah, you could have a full recording setup for not a ton of money compared to a lot of other setups out there, and the sound is going to be pretty solid. You're still going to get multi-track recording. You'll be able to drop them into your audio software and do with them as you please. I think I can recommend this to drummers. Absolutely. This is a pretty cool piece of kit. And I'm not done with this setup either. Later this week, we're going to take the H6 Essential, we're going to plug the drum microphones back into it, and then we're going to run the line out of the H6 into the SP404 Mark II and do some live drum sampling, or live-ish. It'll be live on video, and then mangle them and have fun with them, and who knows what else. I'm really looking forward to that video. It should be a pretty good time. Just a little stressed of how I'm gonna film it. Anyway, I hope you're looking forward to that one, and I do hope that you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. You can always leave a dislike if you did not. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.